This is the sound of the magic happening.
What do I?
I love it.
Oh God, I've never used that button. I've waited for that moment.
Oh my God.
This is multiple podcasts in. I've waited for that button.
That
to
is
go.
great.
The pink button at the bottom right. God, that is amazing. Welcome to the Superhero Academy podcast. I'm your host, Marc Angelo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend. Honestly, I'm not even sure I can give you a single name because you have many names. Some people might know you as brother, some as Sal, some as Martin. I'm gonna call you Matthew. Giuffrida. Dude, thank you so much for showing up. Mid-pandemic, all characters of you just you found a way. You found a way to show up here live on the podcast. Man, I gotta say, I fucking laughed so hard at the videos that you were creating about the cones all over Montreal. The balance between your Italian character, and if you can't notice by the size of my nose and the kind of the grease in my hair, that I'm also Italian and of Italian descent, but the character balance between you being a kind of a Montrealer, a Canadian, and an Italian, and just hitting that Montreal culture so powerfully and so well. How do you do it? How do you come up with these bits? Where do you find your material?
You know what? Honestly, I guess just through experience. High school, went to school with a lot of brothers. Growing up in the East End.
Would you consider yourself one at one point?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so. Maybe. I mean, there was probably like
Periods of time.
You know, the Sal character is like strictly based off of like Tony Soprano in every mob movie in history.
Clearly.
Martin is based on Quebec, and you know, just walking around and
totally
picking that up, and then the video content, especially for Martin now, is honestly it's what everyone's thinking. I think, or what the majority of people are thinking, that they're just fed up with fucking cones and shit.
Yeah.
You know,
and
you got some up front, just to let you know as well. You got a nice little collection there.
Allegedly, you may or may not have moved some orange cones and parking signs right outside of this building.
Definitely,
while
definitely.
making your way here.
Yeah. You can say it. Not allegedly. I did.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, I love that you actually say what everyone's thinking. I love that you have the awareness that Martin is that character at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know? So talk to me a little bit about, I mean, look, you're in my opinion, you're clearly growing online. You're clearly balancing between acting and comedy in a phenomenal way. That's just my personal opinion. I think anybody who's watching this probably agrees. But there's you didn't start here. So tell me a little bit of like the story of how you got started, you know, what it is that you wanted to do, and then how you kind of fell into some of these characters, how you fell into making bits online on Instagram, basically.
Yeah. So I'll go way back to when I was elementary school and high school. That's pretty much where it kind of started. I've always had the love for accents and acting and all that kind of stuff. And basically, I took some theater and improv courses.
Yep.
And did that for a couple of years. It's actually funny. I keep hitting the mic. Sorry about that. I'm gonna bust up your whole. Hope you have insurance.
Yeah. I'll call Martin for a drink.
Yeah, exactly. Or Sal. Exactly.
You're totally right.
Yeah, and it's funny because in grade 6, elementary school, I did a live performance in front of the school as Borat. That was when the first Borat came out. Mm-hmm. Borat in grade 6 should never be mentioned in the same sentence. But I did it. I was a great fan, did the accent and the impersonation and everything, dressed up, hair and everything. And I just always had that love to make people laugh and act, essentially. Yep. Come high school, I started doing like YouTube skits where I would basically comment between like Battlefield and Call of Duty. That was the big thing back then, right?
Yeah, of course.
I was doing those videos. They were doing well, and I was picking up followers pretty quickly for the amount of videos I was posting and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I did one skit where it was Carlos's selling show. Mm-hmm. So I tried to deviate away from the whole like rants type of thing and do what I'm basically doing right now. Posted one video, got a little bit of like what are people gonna think? Mm-hmm. Then you start getting the whole YouTube is not a real job, all that kind of stuff. You should stick with school. So I listened. I said, you know what? Okay, let me just stick with school. People don't know what they're going to think.
I'm sure your parents definitely were not the champions of go strong on YouTube.
No, you know what? No. So I can say my parents have always supported whatever it is.
That's amazing. Great.
So yeah, it was not. Yeah,
culture.
it wasn't. It was definitely not them.
Yeah.
But it was more so like just the general vibe of everyone. Like, hey, everyone goes to school. Even like now, it's like everyone like after once it was CEGEP, and then it was like go to finance. You know, and the whole that line of, I guess,
bullshit.
Yeah, we'll call it bullshit.
Bullshit for
exactly.
you and me. It's not for everyone.
Exactly.
It's just bullshit
100%.
for you and me.
100%. Yeah, it's not for everyone, right?
Exactly.
Like posting videos on social media is not for everyone.
Fuck, hell no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then after I was studying economics. Concordia. Oh my God. Just that word gives me the heartburn.
Yeah. I feel you.
And I was working at TD as a bank teller, and I came across Gary V's video the permission video where he's like outside and he's just like yelling at the camera like, whose permission are you waiting for to go and do your things? Like, fuck, like, I'm gonna give you my permission. Yeah. You go and do it. Saw that, quit school, quit the bank, and said, you know what? I want to do acting. I don't know where to get into acting and all that kind of stuff. So I basically so yeah, I get goosebumps every time I think of this story. So I basically quit everything, and I just said I'm going to use social media, like he says, as my portfolio. So I can reach Martin Scorsese if I want to. I don't have to go to LA or wherever the hell he lives.
No, you
right?
just send a DM.
You send a DM. You go to his friends and you see who he follows, and you just same thing with McGregor and all that kind of stuff. Like when I was doing the impersonations for him and stuff. Like, so yeah, and then basically I didn't really know where to start and stuff. So I just started doing videos.
Yeah,
and my friends and I were going out to like I guess you could call it a bar in the East End, and last minute. It wasn't a bar. It was more like a sandwich joint.
Yeah, like an Italian bar.
Yeah, Italian bar, exactly, right? And last minute, we switched locations.
Okay.
Like literally last minute. Go to this new location. Met someone I worked with at the bank. She was there with one of her customers. Customer's daughter worked at a casting agency.
Amazing.
Numbers were exchanged, and that started the path of the acting. And like then from there, I met teachers and did some courses and all that kind of stuff, and just really dove into it. And yeah, so that story, like if it wasn't for that quick change of diner, location. I guess, or whatever location, like who knows? So
that in a Gary V video, like literally, like really, you really go to the point of like you took it so literally that Gary V's giving you permission.
Oh yeah,
you're like I'm done.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, I always say because like he was supposed to be here in Montreal in May.
I know,
and then obviously
he was supposed to be right here in May.
Ah, no way.
Way.
No way, but you got me, so I mean, hey.
Honestly, I'm actually more excited about talking with you.
I'll get the fuck out of here.
No, I mean it. I fucking mean it. Good, look, I've spoken to him multiple times before. Okay, for those who don't know, I've done some work with him. You know what? With him, I already know what he's gonna say. It's like I have such a similar mindset that it's not as interesting. Or there's like left turns that I don't know are going to come in this conversation. Yeah. That I kind of feel like I kind of know what he's going to say.
Yeah.
For the most part, he's already said it 1,000 times over.
Exactly.
1,000,001 different videos, many of which I've seen.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. So he's supposed to come.
Yeah, exactly. He was supposed to come here in May, and I was thinking of going there, but I wanted something where. You see his videos where people actually meet him one-on-one, ask him to sign something, and ask him a question, whatever it is. And I just want to say thank you. That's it. Like I don't have a question, not right now. Maybe I would, but I mean, like for now, like just no questions, just a pure thank you, because literally it's that video that gave me the permission, I guess, or just said, fuck it, he's right, and let me just go with it. And I've just followed him ever since. And
how long ago was that?
That's gonna be about 2.5 years ago.
So we're November 2020, 2.5 years. Okay, all right.
Yeah, or closer to, I would say, almost 3 years.
Okay.
Almost 3 years ago.
Okay. And so all of a sudden, you learn a little bit about acting. You start, learning the craft, essentially. You start learning about scripts and characters and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And now you start applying that to what I'm going to call skit comedy or sketch comedy of some kind. Yeah. And you start building these characters. Yeah.
So, I mean, basically, it was like, to be honest, this time around, I did 2 months of acting school.
Okay.
I guess. And it was just like I was doing auditions, I got myself an agent, doing background work and kind of learning like the lighting and how everything works and all that kind of stuff. And then I just started like filming my own things. And I for my birthday it was like I wanted lights and stuff and like, basically the tripod, the Amazon stuff, the whole kit and everything, and like, you know, just start.
This.
But at a much lower
Sure, yeah. You start
scale.
Where you start.
You start where you start, exactly. And yeah, that's it. And just like literally just whatever it was at the beginning, it was 4 videos a day. So I was posting at 10, 12 to 4 and 6. 12 to 4 and 6.
Wow.
So my morning was like from 8 o'clock to 12 was to think of the skit, write the skit. Sorry, think of it, perform it, and then. But here's the thing, though: those videos were just single character,
one shot wonder,
straight to the like different accents, different characters. Yeah. So like, but still 4 pretty much every day.
Real editing.
No real editing. You're cropping the ends, and you're adding. Even at that, there was no real top parts, and like even that came afterwards and stuff. But so it was like 4 videos a day with like no traction for like a good. I started the first video I posted was March 3rd, 2018.
Okay.
And then one of the brother videos finally picked up. I remember I went to an audition and I came out, and one of the brother videos that I posted was reshared by another page.
Okay.
MTL Italians.
Oh, nice.
And they had at the time, I think around like 10K, and that shot me from. So I had just hit that day there. I had just hit 1,000 followers.
Okay.
And then so to give you an idea, that happened in like August, September.
Okay.
1,000 followers, and then by the end of the year, by December, I think I had finished with 12K.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it was more growth than I had ever seen organically without paying or anything, and
You tapped into a niche community. You were playing a niche character that speaks to a niche community and shared by a niche Instagram following that has that exact community kind of as part of its of its audience, and that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's really amazing.
It was just cool to see, and like now, like looking back at it and stuff, it's cool.
It's more than cool. It's more than cool because I think it's, I think there's a lot of people. There's past versions of Matthew that are sitting at home right now, being like, shit, I want to get into acting, or I want to get into music, or I want to get into something different. That's not necessarily what you're doing, but that is somewhat creative. It's an art of some kind, and it's not as polished as some of your stuff that you've got going on here. You know what I mean? Like this, what the thing that I find that people see here is that they're like, hey, wow, this is amazing. I can't do this. I'm not as good. I'm not as talented. I'm not as funny. I'm not as whatever. I'm not enough. Right?
Yeah.
But like you said, you started completely in a completely different state and scenario.
100%.
And your characters were not nearly as developed. Like you didn't have the accent fully down. You didn't have the exact look of Martin down. And I scrolled. I went back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went back and took a look at some of the stuff that you're doing. You weren't always at 37,000 followers or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if you go all the way back,
yeah.
I'm not gonna make you go all the way back because I mean it's gonna
take a minute.
If you go all the way back, it's just like random quotes.
Yep.
My videos of working out in the morning, because I've always loved that sort of motivation stuff, and I post a motivational quote every morning that I look up during the week. I find, and I love that stuff. So that's what the page started with, and I would always like delete everything and restart.
Mm-hmm.
And but I said that time there with Gary Vee, I'm like, because he says, just document everything. Like if you know, like I'm not going to delete the old videos that I did because, these are not good to show. It's like, no, you need to see this.
Yeah.
Like I want people to like go back and see the journey. Like, like the first McGregor video I posted was terrible. It was the worst fucking, oh my God. I look back and it's like, you posted this? Like shit. But yeah, you got to see that, because now it's like, you look at the McGregor now, I can't do it as well anymore. Sure. But, you look at the more recent ones and they're like, holy shit, like that's a progress.
It's developed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'm in my own version of storytelling. I feel like I'm so embarrassed to look at any of the stuff that I've made in the past. And then at the exact same time, when I see the progression of it, I'm like, okay, this really is a thing,
Yeah.
And I think what I really admire of the way you went about it is you went full on, like balls to the wall. Like you went full in.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's one thing to quit your job, and it's one thing to make a video a day. It's another to be like, I'm posting 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Like that's like really, I'm in, like fully in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, that's rare.
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing else to do, right? There's no school, no work.
Yeah.
So I need to make this happen, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I had like, for money wise, I had savings, right?
Sure.
You kind of have to, like, you got to be like smart about it as well, right?
Of course.
I did live. I'm still at home with my parents, so I mean that helps tremendously, right?
Yeah.
And then I mean, it was last year, so it was a year ago, not today, but a year ago, sometime this period last year, where, yeah, it did get to the point where it was kind of like, okay, you're posting videos. Yeah, you have a following of some sort, but like,
you can actually make a living doing it.
Yeah, like you need to get a job of some sort because now, yeah, you're making videos, they're fun and all that kind of stuff, but there's nothing coming from this sort of thing. So I was like, okay, whatever. Not okay, whatever. Like, okay, like
we have to do something about it.
Exactly. So like, let's get to the end of the year. Let's push harder. And then that's when I met my, I started doing commercials, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
saw that Marc's commercial or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's completely different. That's more on the acting side.
Sure.
The Marc's commercial. But I'm saying my own commercial, like
Okay,
social media commercials.
Yeah, okay. Sponsored content, essentially.
Yeah. So started doing that, and then that's when I met my current publicist last year, and then she just kind of looked at me like, you have no idea what you're doing in terms of like the whole business side of like, you don't know. I'm like, no, not really. She's like, okay. She's like, do you want help and all that kind of stuff? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's do this. So signed with her, and it's been night and day ever since. Now it's like, okay, things are.
Well, you're doing a lot of commercials now.
Yeah.
But what I love about your commercials is they don't come off as commercials.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me.
But you're doing it like, man, I've watched a lot of people do commercials, do sponsored content, swipe up stories.
Yeah.
Oh, get my no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, there's so many people who do it horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And I think I say this with all honesty, I think you're doing it very tastefully. Because
you.
you're doing it in character. You're doing it as your content.
Yeah.
And you know that if it's not going to work, it's not like at the end of the day, your first goal is make them laugh, make them.
Yeah. No, you hit nail on the head.
Yeah.
And that's
if
what
it's
it
not
is.
going to make them laugh, fuck, the commercial's going to suck anyway.
Well, yeah. You know, that
Nobody wants to watch your commercial.
that's the thing, right? So in my head, I was like, okay, like I don't want to do commercials because why? Because you PVR everything now and you skip commercials. TV commercials are not, like, you know, first of all, they're expensive as shit to make a TV commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people realize that. And like people like PVR and they skip the commercials. However, what comes Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Somehow everyone's fucking,
Somehow it's like, you know, I don't really give a shit about football, but it's like, I'm down to watch those commercials.
Yep.
Why? Because and if you look at them, they're either funny or they're playing with your heartstrings. They're making you cry, or maybe not cry, but like they're, you know, it's something that's like touching or whatever, right?
Yeah. It's a story.
It's a story. So I'm like, okay, great. Let's make people laugh because I'd rather make people laugh than make them cry.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's make people laugh and let's make the Super Bowl commercials because like even if you don't give a shit about whatever the product or the business or whatever it is, at least you're making them laugh.
Yeah.
And it's something. It's like if you remember the joke, it's like the amount of people now, like the commercial we did with
Garden Center.
The Garden Center, right?
Centre Jardin Floréal. Shout out.
Shout out. So you know, like the amount of people, it was like. Oh, that jump at the end. I wasn't expecting that jump at like jumping on the tree, right? Yeah. And it's like, for me, that tells me one thing. They watched the whole commercial.
Which is amazing. Which
is great because that was, I think it was 3 minutes and 20 seconds-ish roughly. And it's 3 minutes. Like people like now, like attention span now is quick, right? With TikTok especially.
It's wild.
Yeah. So that tells me that. And it's like, they got the laugh out of it, which is, they don't feel like they lost time. I lost 3 minutes. Like, oh, this was a commercial.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
they still came out.
They still laughed, and they might even watch it again because it's funny.
And they'll send it to people. It's a commercial that people will actually share, or be like, "Hey, did you see this?" And then they'll talk about the elements of that, like, "Oh, we should go to check out the garden center because they have amazing trees or amazing things," and that's really well thought out and really well planned. Yeah. And just to turn that into a business and build a team around you is wild. But at the beginning, you were editing everything yourself, and now you have a little bit more of a production team, it seems.
Right now, so I was writing, editing, acting, filming, and editing. Did I say that already? Yeah. It doesn't matter. The whole
editing again.
Yeah.
Sometimes
exactly.
It happens twice, really.
Exactly. All myself. Now, really, the only difference is I have someone filming the videos.
Yeah.
I still come up with the ideas. I still write them.
Okay.
I'm still the one acting in them.
Yeah.
And I'm still the one editing them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is not like it's you know, I do have like my girlfriend, great, she's big help now too, plus there's the publicist as well, so I mean like I do have like other people helping me with
business
stuff.
Side of things, the other side of things.
Exactly, right? But it's like I definitely want to do more, you know, like I would like to, for example, all the videos that I've done already, cut them up into smaller pieces for TikTok and all that kind of stuff, like republish videos or smaller, or like
platform as well.
Exactly.
Which is expand into new pastures, new territory, new types of real estate.
Yeah, exactly. But it's almost like you can't do it. Like if you want to keep up the video a day at the level you're doing, or even more, plus add all these other things on now. That's where I'm trying to wrap my brain around. Like, okay, like it's either we got to bring more people on, or
but it becomes tougher. Because it doesn't scale the same way we think it scales. It's like, I just bring in an editor, it'll be easier. But it's like, no, because you still have to communicate that to that editor
exactly
what your script really meant and the nuances of that.
Yeah,
because like you're what I find really interesting about, if you really think about it from a videographer perspective, and you sitting at your kitchen table or in your fucking house,
I really know
I like the behind the scenes of you filming this is actually to me hilarious.
Yeah,
because you're at the end of the day you're having a conversation with no one. You're literally just spouting a line, and then okay, the next line is this line, so and then I can change character and spouting the next line and so on and so forth. That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Do you play it back on your phone, or do you play it back at all to kind of hear the tone that you said the last line with, or you're just really going with it?
Yeah, no. So I mean, like, just to go back to the initial point, like when I'm filming at commercials, people are like, "Oh, can we watch? It's cool." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm like, you can watch, no problem." Like, but I'm gonna look like an insane
fucking
person
idiot. Yeah.
for like 2 hours of time here. Like, this is gonna be bad. Like, especially like if I'm getting angry or I'm like sad, or one of the characters are sad or whatever. It's like you're literally into dead space, just yelling, to nobody, and it's like, is this okay? Like, should we get him something, or like, should we be worried? So I mean, for me, before I write this, like as I write the script, I already see the end of it.
Yeah.
So like I already know what like the end of what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah. You already have the punchline in mind. You already
have the punchline in mind,
elements.
The way it's supposed to sound, all that kind of stuff. So as I'm writing it, basically, I guess it just kind of sticks in my head, and then when it actually comes time to film it, because like if there's arguing back and forth, like you got to match that sort of like tone, I guess, of some sort. So I was thinking about that the other day. Actually, it was funny because I'm like, so I think someone was asking me that, and I'm like, yeah, you got to like, if you're having an argument with someone. Actually, no, it was the video we posted tonight. I did with my girlfriend, and we did ones where it was just my lines, her lines, and then we did one full one where we did it together. And the together one was very different because I had someone to feed off of in terms of acting, right? Yes. So I'm like, ooh, very different. Then like, I don't know what you sound like, and I need to match what I think you're gonna sound like. Yeah. Sort of thing. So
do you start with a particular character? Do you find like maybe doing one character is easier than doing the next one?
No. So the way I just go with efficiency.
Okay.
I guess, and effectiveness, but more so efficiency. Basically, it's always brother first because I can put on the cap.
Yeah.
Then it's exactly.
You don't have to dress up in the same way.
Yeah. So brother, super simple: t-shirt, cap, chain, glasses. Then after comes next is always Martin.
Yeah.
Martin, take off the cap, split the hair, and then just add the clothes on top of brother. Mm-hmm. And then it's take everything off. Take everything off. Gel the hair back, and then it's Sal, because then the gel you got to wash it out, and the hair's wet, so it doesn't look the same. So Sal's always lasted. And
brother's always brother Martin Sal. Love that.
Yeah, brother Martin Sal is always the order.
How did you when did you start to discover the elements of these different characters? And I can imagine you possibly have one in the works, right? Like there's always new layers to these characters. I think most people probably see the accents. And they understand the accent and like who you're trying to represent. Like, okay, this character is more of like you said, typical mafia boss type style character. This one is more woppish or brotherish, and then this one's more, the typical Quebec mentality, hilarious, component. I think people see obviously they see the costume change. They obviously see the accent change, and the kind of the vocabulary change. Let's say, which obviously you play a lot upon, but. How much do you really think about, like you said it earlier, Martin is always saying the things that everyone's thinking, but nobody's saying. Or sometimes they're not saying publicly, but they're saying privately or at dinner parties or whatever it is. Yeah. They're saying it at Christmas dinner, they're going to talk about those things.
Yeah. Like, for example, the Coppola video, the most recent one, I almost find it hard to, like, it's what everyone was like. Yeah. They saw what they did, and everyone was like, no way that this just happened.
Yeah, like, are you fucking serious?
Are you fucking serious?
Because how do you say espresso in French?
So when I went there, what they said was supposedly on the government site, it's espresso with an X. So like espresso.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So as long as you put an X there, you erase the fucking chalk.
Yeah.
And you put the X.
Okay. So
good.
how people say it anyway.
Yeah.
So everyone understands fucking either way.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But you knew that character is the person who delivers that.
Yeah. So initially, Martin at the beginning. I guess the way I kind of do this is I build the accent.
Yes.
And then the accent fits into a character.
Yes.
Right. We just need to find that character. Martin at first was Sylvain the Scientist.
Yeah.
A while back.
Yep.
Which didn't do too well.
Yeah.
So. And then the elections were coming.
Yeah.
And I introduced Martin and his plan, and boom, wildfire.
Crushed. And that's the other thing you're doing all the time.
That's another secret ingredient that I'm really noticing now is
you're surfing the headlines.
You have to, but even in terms of like you see, for example, like the video tonight, the Asian Dating 101, it's it's not relevant in the terms of like everyone's talking about it.
No,
it's still a funny idea, still a funny video, but it's not like it's missing the relevance factor. It's going to be relevant to certain people.
Yes,
but
there's certain things that you're like. I talk about the 4 different types of content all the time, and it's hero, hub, help, headline. Okay. Very quickly, hero content is like a character establishing content. It's the first time you came out with Martin and everyone is like, wow, that's a character. And then you are like, oh, yes, that's a character. And this character has its villain and it has its backstory and it has it has an obviousness to the character and then like its capacity to deliver certain things as a hero of its own kind. Yeah. Right? Then there's hub content, which is like Instagram stories. It's people who have already followed you, they already know you, and now they just want to know more about you. Kind of like what you did yesterday in your stories.
Yes.
When you did like, here's a day in the life.
Yeah.
It's just you talking about what you're doing. If you were to pull out your phone right now and do an Instagram story, that's hub content, right? So you're not doing a ton of that, but you're doing help and headline content really well. And headline content is the OQLF thing, right? That line, when that comes out, an MTL blog posts, can you believe this? And then you just hit it like, okay, I'm going for it right now because number one, you are making a video every single day. You have the capacity to hit the headline and ride the wave. Yeah. Right? The tsunami or the wave is coming in and you're a surfer in the ocean just waiting for it and you're hitting it properly. And you're doing that very, very, very well. And then you have like things like Fratelli Forecast, which I would consider to be kind of like help content because you're actually telling me information I want to know. Yeah. Ironically.
Yeah. The weather is legit.
You're actually just looking at the weather and then giving the Fratelli forecast. Yeah. Obviously, you're doing it in a comedic way. But you took something that I already wanted to know and enhanced you added character to it. So now I say, I'm fucking checking the weather. I'm going to check what you said the weather is which is hilarious that you're you're a Montreal weatherman in some way, shape, or form. That's one of your characters. Yeah. But he
took out the green marker this week. I don't know if you saw that.
Bro, the green marker had to come out this week, bro. That was rough. I had to blow the dust off because that was
yeah. No, but you're doing those layers of content, and help and headline content is really good for discovery because I don't have to know you and I don't have to know your character to think it's funny. Yeah. And so when you made like McGregor content, I'm sure you were doing it when McGregor was about to have a fight.
Oh, 100%.
That's headline. Do you get what I mean? Like, so there is like a methodology to your madness in the story that you're doing. And I think that's what I think is lost on. It's like that art of your storytelling is kind of lost on most people. And they see the joke. Yeah. They don't fully understand it. They understand the joke, but they don't fully understand what goes into making that joke. And I find that fascinating.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, but for sure. I mean, it's always like, it's that. It's honestly, for me, it's always been like what's relevant, you know? Like I honestly missed out the whole Trump era of like,
you could have had that
like do the accent. Yeah. You know, kind of like, almost like Borat, for example. He came out with a second movie. Of course. Whereas I had this accent since fucking 6th grade in my pocket, just waiting, and I would do it, and like, oh, that's Gru from the Minions movie there, and I'm like, no, it's fucking Borat, but you don't know because in 2008 you were
fucking 7.
You were 7. You didn't know that. I'm like, fuck, okay, all right. But then the second movie came out, and everyone knew Borat, and everyone knows Borat now. His accent changed a little bit from the first one.
Yep.
But yeah, people still like they got it, and like you saw, like it caught those videos caught right away. But again, I didn't do as much especially on TikTok. You know, I think that's always my issue sometimes is overthinking of like
it's almost like you're the surfer in the ocean and you're seeing the waves go by, and every once in a while you're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like fuck. I should have jumped on that.
Are you like actively character developing at this moment?
Yeah, yes and no.
Okay.
But I want to bring back a lot of the characters that I have had. Like right now, like what you mainly see is the 3 main characters.
Totally.
But there's a list of other characters that I've done.
Yeah.
That were established characters, but I haven't done them in a long time, and I'd like to see them perform now with the fact that I have a camera guy that I can move around.
You have more of an audience now. They're kind of
more of an audience,
understanding.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd like to bring some of those back and you know, kind of ride the wave with those characters there, right? But I mean, right now it's more so of a business, which is what I was telling you before in terms of like the comments and everything. Like at the beginning, it was like every comment was answered, every message was answered, whereas now it's almost not impossible, but it's
impossible if you want to continue to the pace of making a video a day.
But that's the thing. Like if you want to make a video a day and you want to keep up the stories and you want to hit all these platforms, you know, like Gary Vee keeps saying LinkedIn, and I'm like, fuck, like I have ideas for comedy videos because like my videos won't work on LinkedIn.
No. Well, no, not currently. Not in the current format. I agree with you.
Not in the current format, but like definitely using the characters that I have, I know I can make funny content business-wise for LinkedIn, and being that the reach is
could be insane.
Could be insane.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like you're missing out on that. So, and it's kind of like going back to what I was saying. Like I don't know, I'm kind of like in the middle right now where it's like, do you just keep going hard with what you have and
if I can give you any advice, I would not necessarily transition to LinkedIn at this second for you.
Okay.
And I say that as for those who are listening to this podcast and maybe coming from your side of the equation.
Yeah.
1 second. Who are coming from your side of the equation. What I would say is that, like, look, I've built a lot of brands online, including my own, and I've really helped people establish brands, including people like Gary Vee, mainly specifically with him on Facebook. But the capacity, what happens is if you try and do all platforms and you're not doing it super well contextually, what you're doing is you're essentially splitting the focus, and then you're not hitting the exact wave that you can hit on the platform you already have an audience on. And if you can get a little bit bigger and a little bit like really hit those waves every single time, like you said, you missed the Trump era. It's a big era to miss.
Big era, yeah.
It's a big era to miss.
To develop his accent.
Yes.
And just do videos of whatever, interacting in Montreal or all that kind of stuff.
And every comedian has gotten it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's other characters in Montreal that can be done, like the health minister, or you know, like there's some characters that can start to be done. But if you want to start breaking away from just a Montreal audience,
that's the other
which is the next thing I know that you're going to go after, right? Then realistically, you kind of have to. Well, you get to start establishing characters that maybe is like Ford, right, from Toronto.
Yeah.
Or Ontario, right? So now you bring in that character. Now all of a sudden you start siphoning in the audience. I would say that if you focus on the incremental growth rather than trying to leap into new platforms, you'll actually find that when you leap into that new platform and you've got enough of a base, you can do it easily.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like if you're like hitting, and I don't know exactly what your numbers are at, but they're at the threshold where I would still look for a couple more home runs.
Okay.
Like the OQLF, like those things. And then make a move.
Okay.
In terms of LinkedIn, if you can pull off LinkedIn, there's more money there for you, potentially, right? Like, because you can get an insurance company that says, "Hey, can you come and make us an ad for this thing?" And you're already getting those things, but it's different on Instagram. They spend money differently, or they perceive it differently.
Yeah.
Than if you were to make something that was very effective on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But I would also imagine there's money to be made on Facebook. I mean, if you were to make ads that they can then actually boost on Facebook and Instagram, I think that's also valuable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, that's what I kind of tell people now is that, like, yeah, you're paying for like the audience, like my audience and all that kind of stuff, but But at the end of the day, like this
Also paying for
product
the
is
creative.
yours. Like this is your commercial
Yeah.
that you can rerun. And in the contracts that we have, it's almost like I have to
want
ask
them to.
them.
You want them to.
I want them to.
Yes.
And I have to ask them to use it again if I want to. That's the way it's kind of like it's your content now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's your piece of
You paid for it, so
you paid for it, and you can
own
again you
You
can
own the
rerun
rights
it,
to
boost it, whatever you want to do with it. Like I think there's there's that factor there it's included as well. So I mean,
That's the right way.
yeah,
No, I think it's the right way to do it. I think you're like right at the cusp before you start jumping to other things. Now, jumping to TikTok makes sense. Repurposing your content makes sense.
yeah,
Right? But it's hard to do that. Like the OQLF thing, it's hard to repurpose that because when it's headline, you have to do it quick.
yeah,
Right? That's the thing with headline is that the wave is coming. You either are on it or you're not on it. And so I think more than trying to always hit every wave, it's like, can you just really time the right one and then hit that one? That's where there's like a lot of value. And there's predictable waves, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I grew my Facebook following at one point under my own personal brand. I'm still like getting this going. My podcast is like the first wave of that for me now, even though I started this podcast in 2013 under a totally different brand, but it was always called Superhero Academy. And Superhero Academy started as a podcast. It turned into a whole online school and a bunch of crazy shit, none of which I care to speak about at the moment. But the idea of like, I was able to see predictable waves when, like, for example, the royal wedding was about to go down. There's a date to that, right? There's a date, but we all can see where it's like, oh, okay, everyone's attention is going to be on this thing. Same with the elections, right? In America, for example, everyone's attention is going to be on the elections on that day. So if you can time those things and then have like bigger production value or bigger thoughts, more script writing rather than just the day-to-day of like what joke you came up with that morning compared to, okay, what can I really do to do something here or establish a jump? A jump meaning a new character or now I'm on TikTok. If you can use that one bigger wave to then try and build traction onto the other one, and because you've pre-recorded it, you've had a lot more time to produce it, you have time to chop it up into the perfect TikTok, so on and so forth, then I think there's value there.
yeah.
Well, what's interesting about TikTok is that there's still discovery is still a thing, whereas like on Instagram it's tougher.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and I was kind of doing, I guess that I guess foreshadowing, I guess you can call it. More so last year especially was just in terms of like holidays and seasons.
Yes.
Because, come Thanksgiving, everyone's doing that. So it's like you make a Thanksgiving video.
And everyone has brother, or at least every Italian family has a brother at Thanksgiving dinner.
Exactly.
And so, yes.
Yeah, now Christmas is coming, so all the videos need to be somewhat Christmas themed.
Yes. And all the hilarious things that you can figure out about the funny things that are around Christmas.
Yeah, and especially now, it's like, okay, like everyone's going into Christmas, but it's a COVID Christmas now.
Yeah.
So now the videos, to make them super relevant would be COVID Christmas, like what are we doing, all that kind of stuff. And I think those would be really, again, relevant because people are like, yeah, like I can't have any family over.
Yeah.
So brother complaining about like, bro, I can't have my uncle and aunt over, bro, I don't get it, sort of, so it's, but yeah.
I love that.
And every character can have like their own kind of Christmas going on, right? Like what's Christmas for Martin versus what's Christmas for brother.
Yeah.
Like
what's Sal's Christmas back at
exactly. Like what does Sal's table look like,
Well, listen, I mean, with the current rule and everything, basically you just you bring the tree and the gift to fucking Costco. You bring the whole family, you're allowed to be there all together, man, and that's it. I can't have 15 people at my home, but we go to Costco, aisle 7, Christmas time. The tree is already put up.
If that would be fucking hilarious if somebody fucking did that. They're like, what? But no, fuck it. We're going to just a public place where somehow I'm allowed to be here, but I'm not allowed to be fucking with my friends. The other day I went go-karting and no, I was going to say paintballing, but laser tag at Action 500.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what? Wait, did you rent the whole place? I'm like, no, it's open. Somehow this is an essential service. I'm like, but we can't have anybody at my house?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's wild.
Yeah.
We're in strange times. I won't go into the politics too much of all of this stuff, but the capacity to ride the waves is really what is there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever done this, but I'm going to give you a bit if you have one. Yeah, and I know this is the worst thing, right? When people come up to me like, oh, I've got something. You know what's funny? What I think. So I'm going to be that guy right now.
You be that guy.
I'm going to be that guy right now.
That's it.
You tell me if this is a good one. I don't know if you've ever done it before.
Okay, I'm listening.
I think one of the most hilarious things, I was talking about this on the prior podcast with my personal trainer, who happens to be Italian as well. And him and I were talking about like the crazy funny, we basically in Italian culture, a lot of Italian culture comes with like some level of guilt, shame, and then there's some level of like, we want parody in things, right?
Yeah.
So if I come to your wedding, I'm going to come with an open envelope because that's what Italians do.
Yeah.
They show up with cash.
That's it.
Extra cash in their pocket.
Extra.
Open envelope. It's not sealed. It's there.
Yes.
It's all written out. And depending on how good the meal is,
Yeah.
how much they think they spent on the thing, they add in a little extra cash or take a little extra cash out. That is so fucking, like, I say this and I know you know people who have done this, including people in your own family or some way, where you know that this is a truth.
100%. And I think even, what's his name? Sebastian Maniscalco
Yes.
did a little
bit on that.
A little bit on that. I think it was him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you take that and then bring your characters into that,
Yeah.
and how they all respond to that same situation, like brother Martin and Sal, let's say, they're just to name the top three, I guess. It's very interesting. It's very interesting how comedy is found at the intersect of saying the thing that everyone wants you to say, but nobody dares say.
Yeah.
Saying that, kind of pointing out something that is true, but is also sometimes stereotypical, and then just kind of, and then bringing character to that and finding a way to present that in some interesting format.
Just that idea alone, I could just see all three of them sitting at a table at a wedding. They're there together.
Yeah.
You know, Sal pulls out the envelope and says, "Okay, it's time."
Yeah.
You know, and then they're just negotiating. Yeah, but bro, like the Brussels sprouts were a little overcooked. So like, take $4 out for that, bro. How many Brussels sprouts? Yeah, $2 a Brussels sprout, bro. $2 a sprout, bro.
See, but that's I
like if you have like what, bro, this wasn't an open bar. It's like your brother just like takes $40 out.
Yeah, an open bar, take $40 back.
Yeah. No, but see that's, I love how quickly you can visualize that.
Yeah. Oh, like right now as I'm saying it, like as I'm talking to you, I see them. I can see the whole thing where they're sitting, eating, whispering to each other.
Exactly.
Sal getting upset, like and then, like maybe at the end of the day, like there's like $5 in the envelope or something.
Exactly. So the next wedding hall gig that wants to sponsor your content,
That's
make
it.
a commercial, that's the one.
Or even funnier, at the end of it, they give an invoice to the couple that they owe them money for coming to the wedding.
Do you know that Martin is famous now? He's running.
That's amazing.
That is so funny if you were to become if your characters were to become hyper aware of the fact that they're now becoming popular.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like if you start acknowledging that Martin has gone viral lately, it's like, oh, Martin, like you're in the journal, everyone's talking about you in the NTL blog and all the things.
Yeah.
Like that would be, it would be so funny to think about, it's you. Yeah, it's you high-fiving yourself, but making that in the most hilarious way.
I had done that when they wrote in the Gazette, when they wrote about the
Yes.
Champlain Bridge.
Yeah.
I had done a video where they were all complaining about like, hey, I'm on the front cover of the Gazette. Martin's like, I'm on the front cover. And then brother's like, no, bro, that's clearly like my face. And then Sal's like, oh, I made the front news. And they're all arguing like and all that kind of stuff.
I didn't see that one. That's great though.
And then I come in and I'm like, hey, like, what are you guys arguing about? And then they're all like, oh, wait a minute, it's you. You're on the front cover. And then it's just like, and that's where it ended. That one there, I remember the day of, I think I wrote, filmed, and edited that video it was an hour.
Wow.
That one there. And it did decently well because of the whole like wave of like the Gazette thing. But that one there, I remember sitting there like, sometimes I'll do things like that and I'll just be like, am I taking too much time on certain projects? Like, if I can do this in 2 hours, or why did this just take me 8 hours to do? Like, it's kind of like, is it the distractions? Is it whatever the hell? But
so would you say making that one video a day is like full-time? It's a full-time job at this point.
Yeah, it is. And like I said at the beginning, it was like I said, 4 videos a day. Then after it was literally the morning of. So you wake up in the morning, you got that idea, you write, you film, you post.
Yeah.
Now, just with everything else going on and having a whole bunch of things going on, right?
It's make appearances, coming to podcasts,
podcast appearances. This is not like my goal was always to have my goal is to have a month of content in advance, filmed, edited, ready to go, like scheduled in. Kind of sucks you can't really schedule Instagram.
You can.
You can through external apps, from what I heard. Oh.
Nope.
No, this is insider information right here.
Oh, okay.
If you go to business.facebook.com and you go to Creator Studio, you can have a Facebook page and an Instagram page, and you can actually schedule directly into Instagram.
Just like Marc's post tomorrow.
Just like my post that's going to go out tomorrow.
You're
Scheduled
welcome.
by him. Well, drafted by him will end up being posted by me in the end. But yes, you can schedule on Instagram.
IGTV video, same thing?
Yep.
Oh, look at
And
that.
you can play.
show
You
you
can
after
pre-put the thumbnail. You can pre-do the whole thing. It's all 100% there.
We'll show you after this.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's like
I'm innovating.
I have no fucking idea how
No,
that
it's
just
huge.
changes.
It's huge because I know why you don't want to do it on the pre-schedule on the other apps is because of reach.
It's
Yeah.
a reach, exactly. They say, oh, you're using that app? No problem. We're not going to push
fuck
your video. Okay, holy shit. That
But this
changes
is
a lot.
directly on Facebook's system, and I don't see any impact on reach.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge because now I can, oh my God. Thank
Yes.
you. Holy fuck.
And if you were to add the next layer, what I would do is line up what I would consider to be attention real estate. If I were getting a contract, getting paid to do something, I would line up that same page that shared you and then that had 10,000 followers at the time and then helped you blow up over time and kind of gain traction. If you go to them and say, hey, every once in a while I've got a headline or I've got a video that I just like need to get in front of your audience, just on your Instagram stories, what does it cost? Like, what would you pay? What would that look like if I bought them in bulk right here, right now? And I say bulk, it'd be 10 at a time.
Yeah.
Right. So now you have this bank where you're waiting, the content goes out in the first few hours, you see it's got a little bit more lift than normal. Boom, you had fire. That having that attention, that real estate ready,
Ready to go.
it's huge.
Hmm.
Yeah. And if you were to do that with like 2 or 3 partners that are like key partners that are willing to even give you access to just go and post it yourself because you paid for it and they trust you and you have a relationship with them, that's where that's next level.
Shit.
Yeah. I built an entire agency out of my ability to publish content, track it. Okay, this is performing above statistical significant difference.
Yep.
Great. We've got 48 hours. It's like a missing persons case.
Yeah.
You know what
Okay,
I mean?
yeah,
It's like-
yeah.
it's exactly that. It's like the stat I think is like if you don't find the missing person within the first 48 hours, you're 85% more, like 85% of the chances you'll never find them, right? In this scenario, the algorithms work kind of similarly, but if you can juice it, if you can kind of add
fuel to the fire.
fuel to the fire, then in general you can kind of keep it coasting and going.
Okay,
And
interesting.
you can grow to a certain scale where each video will now have a minimum kind of a threshold of views and of reach, which
Interesting.
and so this is back to this is it. Instagram, look, our phone, I was saying this earlier right before we started, this is Main Street.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you buy advertising or billboards on Main Street? Well, now that looks like shares. The billboard version is Instagram stories.
Yeah.
The window shopping version is, a post on somebody's whatever. But and it's just, it's a game of that. It's a game of that. And there's a lot of that can go into it. I would say the biggest creators have that lined up fully. Gary, Jay Shetty I was talking to him about, Prince EA, all these people, they have a bunch of that real estate lined up. Like, what people don't understand with Serial Academy, and I haven't really done this for the podcast, but I'm going to start to, this episode, these clips will have that starting at least behind it, is that Serial Academy, let's say on Facebook has, I don't know, almost 700,000 followers, something like that. But I own a bunch of other pages, millions of followers, that are behind that are just, this gets published, share. You know what I mean? So now it's just boom. It has that weight immediately because the algorithms are favoring it in a particular way. Wow. And that used to exist on Instagram more with like DM groups and engagement, blah blah blah. Yeah. And I personally feel like I've ruined my own Instagrams in some scenarios because at one point I went viral in fucking something in Brazil, and now I've got like a massive Brazil audience, but they don't understand anything I'm saying. Yeah. So it's useless, Like I actually literally want to like ban all Brazilians from my Instagram, just so I can kind of get back to a real number of reach, a real audience, right? Because it is a game of it's like a game of percentages. If they're showing it, let's say, to 1% of your audience at the beginning, and then X percent is really starting to engage with it more than usual, then they will keep showing it to more and more people. Yeah. And that's
because again, they don't show it to much. I think
No.
it's like a 7%, I think, or not even.
Barely.
Barely. That's nuts.
Yeah. I find like a lot of the power of brand is in the hub content now. So like I would say like how I would value your brand in terms of dollars and cents is how many people are watching your Instagram stories.
Okay.
That's me. If I had to buy today, I would say show me your story data and like show me your watch through of your stories.
Okay.
That's kind of where I would say the attention's worth the most. But in general, there's a lot. I mean, I think you what I like about what you're doing is that by maintaining your niche right now, you're actually maintaining a lot of value.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you try and expand too quickly, you're not going to have the Montreal companies being like, well, yeah, okay, fine, you have 100,000 followers, but now I'm only reaching 1% of them, and half of them came because you made a Trump character.
Yeah.
So now they're in America. Well, now it's not as relevant to my Montreal-based car wash.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So you're in like again, I think you're in a great position. If I had to say what kind of characters should you expand, I would expand Canada first.
Yeah.
Right? Hit Ford, hit Trudeau, hit something.
Yeah.
And then yes. I mean, for sure a good American character is
a Newfie would be pretty funny too.
A Newfie would be funny too, but these are all difficult to do, right? It's like here we are just like throwing it out. Just
do it.
Yeah,
just tomorrow, do it. The fucking what's his name? Charlie, just do it.
Exactly. But yeah, which is so good because if you were to start to meme yourself in that way, that would even that is brilliant.
So that was one thing that I kind of started recently is memes of some sort. Like I don't know, but I'll take like a screenshot of a video. There's like one not too far back, I think. Like that right. I think that there's that one there.
Yeah,
Sal one right in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, and they haven't been like doing as well as I thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now do they need a little more work? Maybe the slogans were not that great, but I mean, you know, I don't know how relevant those need to be.
What it is that it's a break between the kind of content that you're generally doing.
Yeah.
Which is right now you're streaming in the videos side of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you took that exact meme and actually just made it a static video, it might have performed better. I'm not certain I would do
or
that.
like a
GIF
a
style.
GIF,
Yeah.
like Sal, like a GIF kind of like repeating.
If you did a GIF, it would do amazing.
Yeah,
but you know how you do a GIF?
That's one thing of...
you know how you do a GIF on nowadays? Reels.
On Reels.
Yeah, because Reels repeats itself.
True.
Right? So if you at the end of the day, if you make a 4-second, 5-second reel of Sal going, and with the text and the thing, that's the GIF that I would do for you. Keep the video... I don't want to say avoid the picture posts, but I would probably not do as many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, another thing. So that's another thing that everyone is like, you jump on Reels because they're pushing Reels out now because they want to take that attention away from TikTok.
Another wave.
And
it's
then
like surfing at a different beach.
Exactly. Now I'm just kind of like, okay, I did one or two. They did well, and I'm like, Mike, I don't know why my brain is like not just like, okay, jump on it and do it. You know, because my mind is stuck on these videos.
Yeah.
You know. So it's kind of like, you know, you got to be able to break away or, again, cut up the videos.
Well, it's hard to script write for something. It's a different format.
It's a whole different thing, yeah.
It's a different format. To make a joke in 20, 30 seconds is a completely different format.
Yeah.
But I think if you were to take elements of your punchline from a prior video and then turn that into a Reels and then a TikTok and simultaneously a TikTok, that would probably work.
Yeah.
It's like you basically need to take the highlight reel
pretty much
of your bigger video and then do that. It would be worth it.
I think it would be worth it.
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would possibly be worth you posting even a little bit less even if it took you let's say right now you're making 7 videos a week. If you were to make 5 but then do 2 good reel days.
Yeah.
I think that's like a worthwhile exchange for where you're at.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's hard. But
it's hard.
Yeah. Well, what I love is that people are seeing the sausage being made here. Like, this is a genuine... this is the first time we ever meet, number one. And number two, you're discovering what I'm good at, and I'm discovering you're good at. And but this is exactly how we how we tell stories online. It is engineered to some degree. It is thought out.
It's not just whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just wake up in the morning and post for videos, right? It's just
No, you have to think about it. You have to think about it. And the script writing process is a thing.
No, in this case, he just gets me to post the 4 videos for him.
Well, that's what building team is. Yeah. That's what you hire a brother.
That's it. You hire a brother and that's it.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, I do see value. I see very good crossover into TikTok. That's where if I had to do the one or the you mentioned LinkedIn or whatever it is, TikTok is definitely it's potent.
Well, TikTok, I mean, for the amount of work that I've put into it versus the amount of followers I've received, it's kind of like I guess my brain kind of went in I don't have to work very hard at TikTok to see results. Yeah. I think that's where my brain kind of sat in, in that sort of like mentality versus it should be but if you do put in the work, and you do put in a lot of work and effort into it, then the what you're gonna get back is tenfold, sort of thing. Yeah, I just really it's almost like, and it's crazy because recently Facebook has been my number one, which I would have never thought. Facebook was besides YouTube, but YouTube is very hard to grow in my opinion. YouTube is
it's the one worth the most, but it's the hardest to do.
Yeah. So YouTube is growing slowly. So that one was always it's my side thing, and I have other content that I'm planning on doing for YouTube. Yeah. But I mean, Facebook was again I'm Facebook. No one really watches the videos on Facebook, but now it's it's taken over.
Really?
It's it's catching up to TikTok.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, holy shit! Facebook is really
Is it because you think it's the older audience that's paying attention there?
I don't know. I know the shares do wonders. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's the difference. There is a little bit of a culture difference. Whereas on Instagram, I'm a passive viewer. Whereas on Facebook, there's more likelihood that I will share.
Yeah. So I noticed that, and then also the OQLF videos. It's people who are shop owners who go buy groceries who have to deal with the government one-on-one. So,
but you have to do that again. You have to understand that your hit now can make the next wave. In certain moments, you hit the wave so perfect that you are literally the wave generator now. Only for a certain time frame. If you can recall the joke again, essentially, if you can make that joke again or make an update to that joke in some way, shape, or form, or have a new spin on it or new context on it, then that goes far. You know what I mean? It goes far, and then you can hit up the same people who covered it to see if they're willing to hit it again. Yeah. But this is where teams start. This is a lot of work.
But you see, but that's my thing. And that's where I'm at right now in my head. It's okay, do I grow that? Do I bring someone else on to worry about just cropping videos, just doing the nitty gritty, go through I go through my videos, crop little things up, and then post them on TikTok to keep that stuff going, and then post
the answer is
GIFs
yes.
and all that kind of stuff.
I think so. I think look, it's never going to get easier for you than right here, right now. Right? True. At the end of the day, you're living at home, so you don't have that much expense. Yeah. And whatever revenue is coming in, and you don't have to mention any number or whatever it is, but I would take at least, I would try and take about half of that revenue, if not more, and reinvest it back in to your team and the different things that are going into that. That's what I would do. So if that's the case, I think having somebody chop up and understand and who can really get that going is worth it. And then I would have your publicist reach out to TikTok Canada and see if you can start getting something going. Because remember, TikTok has divisions that are very specific to niche markets. They want creators like you that really own a niche in a city. You know what I mean? MTL Blog doesn't grow or doesn't blow up if it's not called MTL Blog.
True.
If it was just called
Blog
or something, just whatever other name, something more creative like Superhero Academy, it doesn't do as well. Even though it will cover the exact same topics. It sounds crazy, but sometimes the most generic version of that thing that hits that niche is exactly what some of these other bigger brands kind of want to fund or want to get behind and add reach to. And there is Jay Shetty, I'll give you an example. Jay Shetty becomes one of the first Facebook partners ever. That's how he becomes number one. He's growing, but he represents a niche that most creators aren't. He has a different skin color. He has a different, you know what I mean? Like he's got a little bit of like a bunch of different facets that are perfect for Facebook to say, this is the audience we want to grow. These are the people we want to bring onto our platform. This is a new user base and engagement we want to grow. They already had the white creator, you know, white male creator. They already had that down. Like those people were making the money. They were making that content anyway. They already had that audience in some way, shape, or form. So he hits that mold perfectly. Yeah. And then they put him on the creator partner studio thing and they start paying him money and they give him ads first. Yeah. Like when Facebook ads on pre-roll videos or blah, 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 they give him that access and then boom, he blows up. Absolute fire. So if you can get in on the inside scoop of TikTok Canada, which is doable. Like as we were saying, you know, Scorsese's one DM away, so is TikTok Canada. Yeah. I think you have legs for that immediately. I love how this turned into a strategy.
Oh yeah, this is like a pen and paper here. Yeah.
Well, the good thing it's all recorded.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
You yourself will be listening back to this podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think it's hyper contextual. It's hyper contextual, and that's why context really matters when it comes to audience building. And the more that you kind of can stay within that context for some period of time, and then build, and then make moves, it makes sense. But I would consider hiring somebody for the TikTok, the crossover. Yeah. And keeping that going.
Yeah, and they can also help with like going through your content and being like, this is good for the reels and kind of making
it's that sort of stuff because
it's not that much work for that person and it saves you so much more time in terms of like the creating aspect.
Yeah. Because my goal is always like I want to have like these videos. I want to keep creating. I want to like worry about like, okay, Christmas time. Like I need all the Christmas videos. Like what can we do? Can we do like a 12 days of Christmas segment? You know, but that takes time to sit down and create and all that kind of stuff. But you got to worry about the posts that are going up. You know, you can't just disappear. Yeah. And I've done that before. And like now recently I've been able to maintain a good amount of like a good consistency. But yeah, I'd disappear for like 2-3 days. And then how I'd come back, I'd make a video that would be like Sal sitting me down saying, where the fuck have you been? You can't just disappear like that, you know? And that always gets people like, oh, shoot, he hasn't been around for 2-3 days, so it's funny. And then you're good for about a week. And then after that, it's like, bang, again, you disappear. Yeah. You know, so it's that.
But you're hyper aware of your disappearance. And you're like 1,000 true fans are hyper aware of it, but most people aren't. I'll say that.
True.
You're valuing that very powerfully because you're you.
Yeah.
But most people might not fully notice because you're only circling in their algorithm every once in a while anyway. Yeah. Right. But you definitely don't want to lose the cadence of like the habit. Habit formation is huge. Yeah. Right. Because if people are looking you up and your name up specifically because they're like, what video do you make today? Yeah. Right. My day was shit, but at least Matthew fucking is gonna make me laugh.
Yeah. I know tonight at around 7:00 there's a video coming up. That's that sort of like vibe that I'm going with now. That like every Sunday there's a forecast. Yeah. You know, and I'll get those messages. It's like, I need my forecast. I don't know what to wear tomorrow, sort of thing for Monday. So it's funny, and but to be honest, like the forecast at the beginning was doing really well on Facebook, really well on Instagram, and it's dropped. Yeah, and it's dropped. But I'd say right now it's a consistent amount. Yeah, every week,
and it's easy production. You don't have to script right.
I still script right because it's got to be different every week, and there's only a certain amount of ways that you can say that it's gonna be moist today. Like that joke is like, you know, it's not that it's old, but it's his way of saying it now. Yeah. But you know, you got to keep, you know, there you try to bring in some relevance as well. Like this week was the fact that they were closing down the schools. Yeah. You know, it's like, bro, I have to open up my academy again to learn the kids and all that kind of stuff. But now what I'm noticing is that it's a consistent amount of views. And it's pretty much just the people who are ready to go every week, Sunday, they watch it, and it's not growing. It's the people who have settled.
Who have settled and are part of your 1,000 true fan audience kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me to remove the forecast to say like, oh, well, it's not growing anymore. It's stagnant. Let me get rid of it. No.
I don't think you should do that. No, I don't think you should. I think it's.
I've thought about it of like, okay, like maybe I'll just get rid of this because it's not growing anymore. But no, it's.
No, I don't think you should get rid of very consistent characters, very consistent patterns that people have and habits that they get to form around that content. I wouldn't change it just yet. Yeah. No, I mean, maybe in the future that's different.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would just look to aim for some of the headline waves, and then if you hit it like you did the espresso thing, then how do I have to come back out with that again quick? You know what I mean? Like there's got to be that like turnaround, and because you're script writing every day, you have that flexibility.
Yeah.
See, I envy that. But my response to that is, this is why this system is meant to go live. We're not live at the moment, but it's meant to get there, because now I can hit that headline immediately as it happens.
Yeah.
I can literally be like on something, refresh. Yeah. Oh my God, did you see this thing?
Yeah.
And then like I would incorporate my brother more into that, where he would be like hitting refresh on certain things every once in a while. Oh my God, this just happened. Boom, bam. We hit it. Okay, this goes out. We literally built a software called Clippable, which makes clips. So we take videos, we load them onto YouTube, we make them into clips very quickly. I'll show you later.
Yep.
I fucking saw it. I saw the light bulb go off. I'm like
Clippable. I'm like clips, YouTube, fast. Yep.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Well, because we have the same itch.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're both creators. We're both storytellers. We have the same itch. But having him do that contextual thing then allows me to go at it right away.
Yeah.
And then back to, there are predictable headlines. Conor McGregor is going to fight, or the election is going to happen, or the royal wedding is going down. So then I can plan around that. I can put that into my calendar, think about how I want to go about it, think about what guest I would watch it with.
Yeah.
Right? Like if Italy were in the World Cup right now, you'd be the perfect guest to like, okay, let's turn it on and fucking let's sit and watch and let's make commentary.
Exactly.
And then every once in a while, it would cut straight to me, and you'd go off, you'd switch character and come back. Hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, and then Martin comes in, and now all of a sudden we've got this endless routine of jokes that are constantly played, right? And so that ability to go live, because there's nothing beats live.
Yeah.
Nothing beats context or headlines like live news.
True.
That's why CNN wins and the headline game all the time. But and I'm not saying they're doing it well, or that they're informing us well, or that they're not playing upon our fears.
That's why.
They invented them, and Fox and all the other CTV, whatever. They are literally the definition of headline. Yeah. But I see real value in you when you hit. You do it again. You have to find a way to bring the joke back.
To bring the joke back.
Well, think about Chappelle, right? Like, or think about a comedian, right? Like from a very more traditional stand-up perspective. They're gonna seed a joke somewhere in the beginning of their set or middle of their set.
Yes, and then bring it back.
And they're gonna bring it back, and they're gonna end on the high note. They're just gonna walk off the stage really fast. Yeah. Their capacity to have made that first laugh then actually sets up the second laugh even more in certain scenarios.
Yeah. I'll do that. So I used to do one live a week.
Yeah.
Where I just used to tell people like, sometimes I used to bring them on, but then fucking Instagram would crash all the time, and then I have to restart and all that kind of shit. Yeah. But then it was to the point where I'm like, you know what? Scrap it. Just give me a character.
Yeah.
Give me a character. Give me a scenario.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to do it on the spot live. Go.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Like there'd be like, Sal buying oranges, or Sal, the oranges are too expensive. Great. Done. Yeah. Go for it. Mm-hmm. And what I always found that if ever I did do a comedy show, I wanted to do one where I'm interacting kind of like a Sugar Sammy.
Sure.
Right? Yep. Where he does that phenomenally. I wouldn't say I'm anywhere near his level of, but I like that. I'm quick on I like being on the spot with people and taking stuff that was said from the beginning, bringing it back, or using what they said.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So
here's what I would do for that. Text message. They text message you the ideas.
Oh, okay.
Like Gary V.
True. Yeah.
The text message.
Yeah.
Every time your video now comes out, you see it in the latest video? Text message.
Well, at the end of his videos, you're talking about.
Oh, no? Well, so I'm saying if you're saying every once in a while you're going to do a live and you're going to make this Sugar Sammy-like scenario, great. Text me your ideas.
Okay.
Now you collect a bunch of phone numbers through an ecosystem, and now those ideas come out. Well, dude, this is what I do for a living.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's just like where the fuck have I been?
No, but you've been busy fucking making videos. You've been establishing the character. You're doing people in your position meet people like in my position, and this is where the fucking magic happens.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True.
I do. I just know. And
Making it happen right now.
Making it happen right now. This
All
is
of you
it.
guys
Yeah.
listening in, this is the sound of the magic happening.
what do I?
I love it.
Oh God, I've never used that button. I've waited for that moment.
Oh my god.
This is multiple podcasts in. I've waited for that button.
That
to
is
go.
great.
The pink button at the bottom right. God, that is amazing. Okay, so, but okay, oh fuck. Okay, text message.
Text message, yeah.
But the truth of the text message is what you now have in that scenario is you can't answer every comment, but if somebody text messages you, that's different. Now you can really get, oh, that's a great idea. Thank you so much. Maybe I'm going to turn that into a skit. So you might not have done it live. Like you would have done like, let's say 20 messages of like, oh, Sal and the oranges are too expensive. But then you got another one with like Sal being a firefighter or something and becoming a volunteer firefighter. Boom, that one's perfect. You make that skit later. But now as you have particular headlines or particular bigger videos where you've taken more time, you text message people saying latest video's out. You know what I mean? And every once in a while, you can direct traffic to your video came out, boom, you're getting that first 22-hour, 3-hour window, get a bunch of saves, a bunch of comments, a bunch of whatever, like Gary Vee does. Yeah. Hey, the first 15 people, no. You know what I mean? That whole thing. So that component of getting text messages, I think, is very, very potent. Because what you love about text messages is now you can move people from platform to platform.
True. It's like exactly.
It's a link.
It's just
in a text, I can be like, hey, did you know I'm on TikTok?
And then boom, TikTok, and then LinkedIn or whatever the hell, YouTube in this.
And so if you've got a bit of enough of a list, you now have that audience there. And as long as you have your 1,000 true fans follow over, you should be able to build on the new platform, whatever the new platform is.
Fucking A.
But the text message thing is I see it as like the future. It's definitely like the place to.
Really?
I'm going there. I'm personally going to go there.
Wow,
it's the next thing I have to.
I saw him do it, Gary, and I mean he's consistent at it. He's consistent at it and everything, and I noticed some other people start to do that, like text me and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just kind of like, okay, cool, I see it, but I didn't know, like I didn't like think like I didn't like. I see them, I think about it, I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna last, or I don't know how that applies to me, sort of thing. Like even TikTok. Like I jumped on TikTok late, and even though I'm late, I'm still not putting as much effort on it as I should be.
Sure.
Now I see LinkedIn, and I'm like, okay, he's pushing LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, I gotta play around a little bit with LinkedIn. I did put a video there recently. Nothing really happened.
No.
So I'm like, okay, this needs to be different for LinkedIn. But no, it's like I see what he's doing, and it's like you like.
Yeah, but I tell you this, knowing he's right.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of resources to deploy against it, and he has people to deploy against it. Like the way LinkedIn works is if you find somebody who's already an influencer and they come and interact with your LinkedIn content, if they're big and they comment on your LinkedIn thing, they'll blow you up.
Yeah.
The algorithm works where it's almost like there's like a daisy chain algorithm on LinkedIn, where that doesn't exist on Instagram or other things necessarily. It does to some degree, but not as it's not weighted as heavy.
Okay.
Whereas if on LinkedIn somebody has like, if Gary came and commented and liked your video, it says, oh, if Gary thinks this is contextually interesting, maybe his audience does too, and then it spreads that, right?
Got it.
But I find I think TikTok is definitely still, if I had to pick one carryover, it'd be TikTok. But I love the idea of the transition being some kind of data capture that you own.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, email's one way, but I don't know. I don't turn to emails for funny. I turn to text messages for funny.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like you see Tinder nightmares, or you see text conversations being funny on Reddit or whatever, tweets being funny on Reddit or whatever. But you don't see like, oh, that funny email I got. It's like, I don't know. So I think you can have like a quick little joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the text, and then give context to whatever video or whatever direction you're sending them in.
Yeah.
At that moment.
Yeah, even like since I'm just thinking about it now personally, like just like bro, you won't believe like Sal just told me this, and then link. So now you're texting someone directly, so it feels like they're getting that. It doesn't feel like they're getting that personal connection of like, brother just texted me.
They literally feel like your brother.
Yeah, brother just texted me, and then it's like a Martin thing. It's like, tabarnak, I just hit a pothole. Check out this video.
But you can even make that, like, rather than just saying, because most people would do it like send one text message.
Yeah.
Right. You can do exactly what you just said. Have like 2 or 3 text messages that all come in a sequence. That's one's from Martin, one's from brother, and one's from Sal. And that's like that. You're now made comedy in text format.
Yeah.
That got me to click onto that video that says, fuck, I have to see this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever it is that you're talking about. So, but these are layers of complication, right?
Yeah.
But like, but not really. Not really. I think it's like reasonable to do.
Yeah.
And I know the text message service that Gary uses. I have a connection to them. They it's like invite only, but I can hook you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna send Sal. Sal's gonna knock on the door. Oh, I know a guy who knows a guy. Forget about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, if Sal shows up tomorrow, I'll know. Yeah. I fucking fully lost track of time. How long have we been running here?
We're at 75 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
See, amazing how fast that went.
Okay.
I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add? I mean, I'm okay to keep going if you want. If there's other questions that you might have for me.
I mean, it was a great introduction. So, are we gonna start the podcast soon, or is this?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit record.
Okay, perfect,
Oh,
great, good stuff.
We didn't hit record.
Imagine 3, 2, 1, restart.
Welcome to Superhero.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Shit.
Well, dude, keep at it, man. You've
Thank
got
you.
the ingredients. You've got what's going on. I think I love that you're doing what you do. I love that you're innovating about it, and I love that you realize like
Potential, I guess, the potential of it all.
yeah, but you're even shooting yourself. You're like, I should do that.
Yeah.
So you're not just like resting on your laurels on it or just trying to do the same joke over and over again.
Yeah.
Like you're really in the creation of like, fuck, how do I really get this? Like, how do I really make this happen? And yeah, I see the humble character that it takes to be the many characters that you are. So
There you go. Yeah.
you know, ladies and gentlemen, where the links are. You know where to find his comedy. You know where and what to hit. And if you got all the way here, go over there. Go hit subscribe on or follow or whatever it is on.
Because if you don't, no, I'm kidding.
I can't edit any better than that. See you in the next one. Oh, amazing.